Hi and welcome everyone to Roo Hammer's weekly NRL round review. This week we're going to take a quick look at the results from round 22. Before we get started, I invite you all to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel to show your support for the content we create. Subscribing to the channel puts you in the draw to win some exclusive Roo Hammer merchandise, so click that subscribe button now. Rob, round 22, mate. Let's jump into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Round 22 kicked off with what I guess should have been a blockbuster between the Broncos and the Roosters at the Gabba. Poor old Broncos had to play away from Suncorp Stadium again. Yeah. But they did compensate by having a very dominant win over the struggling Roosters. It was the Broncos 32. Mam, Farnworth, Carrigan, and Staggs tries, and Reynolds 6 from 6. The Roosters 10, Smith and Tupou tries, and Smith 1 from 2. 20 unanswered points in the first half set the Broncos up for a dominant 32-10 win over the Roosters on Thursday night, which kept them on track to secure a top 4 spot. In what was arguably their best opening 40 minutes of the year, Herbie Farnworth, Ezra Mam, and Pat Carrigan crossed for tries, with Adam Reynolds converting all 3 and adding a penalty goal. Pat Carrigan breaking his try-scoring duck, scoring his first NRL try in his 78th game. I have to say, it was a bit of a non-event, wasn't it, the try that he got?
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's pretty soft one. But on an otherwise dreadful night for the Roosters, veteran winger Daniel Tupou, he did become the Roosters' all-time try scorer with his 140th try. Scored 10 minutes from full time, surpassing the great Anthony Minicello.
Yeah, congratulations to both those guys, Paddy Carrigan on breaking his try-scoring duck, and Daniel Tupou for his milestone tries. The first game on Friday night, mate, saw the Tigers take a home game on the road up to the Scully Park at Tamworth to take on the Raiders. I do have a soft spot for Scully Park. I did play a schoolboy competition up at Scully Park way back in 1985. Where we made it through the grand final and lost to Christian Brothers Lewisham, but that's another story. And it was the Rabbits, 32. Johnston, a treble. Tass, Kolomatangi, Murray tries. Latrell Mitchell, 4 from 6 goals over the Tigers, 18. Coruscant, Papali'i, and Pole tries. Coruscant, 2 from 2, and Brooks, 1 from 1 goal. Mate, the Rabbits are just a class above the Tigers in this one. And Alex Johnson hat-trick led the Rabbitohs to a gutsy 32-18 victory over the Tigers. After a disappointing loss to the Broncos last week, South bounced back in style at Scully Park with Johnston's 12th career hat-trick, taking his career tally to 184. He's hot on the heels of that Kenny Irvine record, isn't he? And returning for his first game since round 12, Latrell Mitchell, he was also made his presence felt at fullback with 169 run meters, 11 tackle breaks in his 80-minute performance. Good win by the Buddies there. They one that they really needed because they dropped out of the 8, and that gets them back up in there.
Yeah, they absolutely had to win that. Tigers gave a pretty good account of themselves in that second half, but yeah, Rabbitohs just too strong. Just on Scully Park, a ground that's close to all our hearts as Warriors fans as well. It was our home base for a while during that COVID year. And we had that fantastic victory over the Knights in that 2020 season. Yeah, so that's very memorable.
We did too. Yep.
Yeah. The second of the Friday night games, that saw the Storm hosting the Eels at Marvel Stadium. And, wow, the Storm 46. Grant 2, Hughes, Katoa, King, Seve, Munster, and Warbrick tries. Meany 7 from 8. Over the Eels, 16, Russell Hopgood and Moretti tries. Storm star Jerome Hughes and Harry Grant produced an attacking masterclass to lead them to a 46-16 win over the Eels, with Grant bagging a double of some brilliant running from the ruck, and Hughes chalking 5 assists, 3 line breaks, and a try of his own, and one of the greatest post-try celebrations, the Hadouken. Or was it a tiger? It was something anyway. It was, as a massive Street Fighter fan, that was easily my favorite so far.
Yeah.
He just dominated, and Harry Grant as well had a fantastic game. They buoyed by the occasion of the Old Boys Day. Craig Bellamy's side reminded everyone that they are still 2023 premiership contenders. Storm celebrated their 25th anniversary, welcoming back former players, whilst Eels coach Brad Arthur reached a milestone of 250 games as Parramatta coach. One thing I will say about the 25-year celebration is I think they had a bit of a misprint somewhere on on some of their promotional material because they included a couple of items that don't seem to be in history anymore.
And they did it against one of the teams that they beat in one of those grand finals, Parramatta. So, yeah, like I get what the Storm were doing, celebrating their premierships over their 25-year history, but read the room, guys.
Exactly.
You're playing the Eels, who you ripped off in that, was it 09 grand final? Yeah, I don't know. They came out today and they said, even though those premierships have been taken off us, we wanted to honour the guys that played in those grand finals for the work that they did that year. Okay, whatever.
Okay, guys.
Which brings us on to Super Saturday, mate. Super Saturday saw the first game, saw the Raiders hosting the Knights at GIO Stadium, both teams playing for their seasons effectively. And it was the Knights away from home with the all-important victory. For the Knights, 28. Ponga, Marzu, Young, Gamble tries. Ponga, 6 from 6 goals over the Raiders, 6. Rapiner a try and Croker the lone goal. Mate, the Knights powered past the Raiders 28-6 for their 4th straight win. Newcastle left the Raiders in a state of shock pretty much with a commanding first half performance which saw them run in 20 unanswered points. And while the scoring rate dropped off in that second 40 minutes, Newcastle's intensity didn't, and the Raiders were never really in the contest, and very disappointing for them at home. Even with the results secured, the Knights came up with some huge goal line efforts in the final 5 minutes to deny Canberra any consolation tries. Newcastle are now unbeaten in their last 4 games and have outscored their opponents 154-42 in that period, whilst the Raiders have now conceded 128 points in their past 4 games at GIO Stadium. Ricky won't be happy.
Mate, he wasn't. And I made sure I tuned into his press conference. It's always great entertainment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just sits there and moans the whole time. But, yeah, geez, they were dreadful, the Raiders, but the Knights were very good. They've really improved their defence. Their goal line defence was fantastic. And they have almost surpassed the Cowboys now as a team that's looking to surge into the top 8 now. An outside chance, and they have to keep winning. But, they've put themselves in a good position.
Yeah.
Game 2 of Super Saturday saw the Sea Eagles travel to Wynn Stadium to take on the Dragons, a game where Manly captain Daly Cherry Evans played his milestone 300th game. So, well done to him.
Yep.
And Sea Eagles 24, Saab with a double, Kula, Olakalatu, and Garrick tries. Garrick 4 from 6. And the Dragons 18, Molo, Burns, and Sloan tries. DCE, he brought up the 100th NRL appearance in style. And the Sea Eagles, they broke a 20-year record to beat the Dragons 24-18 at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong, almost as bad as us there. And, the Sea Eagles, they ran in 22 straight points during the match to ensure Daly Cherry Evans' milestone game was a night to remember after St. George Illawarra took an 8-0 lead early. So despite a spirited second half effort from the Red V to get within a late try, the Sea Eagles did enough to hold on for their first victory in Wollongong since 2003. Wow. And the Dragons, they had a whopping 59% possession and ran for 400 more metres than the Sea Eagles, despite the result. And Cherry Evans has now won his 50th, 100th, 150th, 200th, 250th, and 300th NRL match in a remarkable record for the Sea Eagles captain. He probably played against us in one of those and kicked a field goal.
In all of them.
Basically, all bar the 300.
Yeah.
Can't be forgotten that Sea Eagles hooker Lachlan Croker also brought up his 100th NRL game on the same night. And last week was probably my second favourite of the post-try celebrations. He did the degeneration.
Yeah. He did.
Crotch, what is it, the crotch chop?
Yep. Mate, congratulations to DCE on his milestone 300th game. He's the 49th player to do that, to achieve the milestone. He's the 19th to achieve it at one club, but he's the first to achieve the milestone playing in just one position. He's never played any other position but halfback.
Wow.
Amazing record.
Incredible durability.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Still going strong at 34 years old, mate. So he's definitely leading. And again, Manly, like Newcastle, they're sitting just 1 point out of the 8 now. So they're really making a fist of trying to get into that top 8. Mate, the final game of Super Saturday saw the, speaking of teams struggling to make the 8. Saw the struggling Sharks travel to the foot of the mountains to take on the Panthers, and it was all one-way traffic at Bluebet Stadium. It was the Panthers 28. Luai, Yo, To'o, Taruva, Martin tries, Cleary 4 from 5 goals over the Sharks, a big fat duck egg. Yeah, the Panthers held the Sharks scoreless in a dominant display that sees them retain top spot on the ladder. A massive blow for the Sharks early when fullback Will Kennedy was forced from the field with a hamstring injury that forced a bit of a reshuffle, and it looks like he's going to be out for about 3 to 4 weeks, they're saying. And Nico Hines has actually stuck his hand up to say he'll play fullback, which I think will probably be a little bit better for Nico. I think Nico's got a lot of pressure on him playing halfback and moving to fullback. He'll probably be a little bit better. Speaking of halfbacks, Nathan Cleary was back to his best, showed his class with 2 40-20s in that match. But the story of the night was Sharks lock Cameron McInnes, who finished the night with a whopping 83 tackles to break the previous NRL record, which was 74, which was held by Sean Fensom. Back when he played at the Canberra Raiders. So 83 tackles in a match is just absolutely ridiculous.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Pity he didn't have any help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Crossing over to Sunday footy, and that's where the Bulldogs take a home game to Salter Oval in Bundaberg to take on the Dolphins. And it was the Bulldogs 23. Kickout, Burns, Avarillo, and Wilson tries. Burton 3 from 4. And a field goal, which didn't seem much at the time, but ended up being the difference against the Dolphins 22. Milford with a double. Isako Tefade tries. Isako 3 from 5. Yeah. It was 11 points to 8 scoreline at halftime, and it was it's becoming a bit of a trend, kicking one of these field goals right on halftime just to get that extra point on the board. But amazingly, it did turn out to be crucial. And Milford, especially Milford scoring in the last couple of minutes and decided to go for the big showman swan dive instead of improving the position. And
it cost them dearly. It cost them dearly.
Isako missing the kick. So, that was crucial for them. But, a victory that the Dogs needed. Good to see Kickout back. And he's back to his try-scoring best as well. So, an important win there for the Bulldogs to get them, hopefully restore a bit of pride for the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. The Dolphins, they're just going further and further down, aren't they? And we said that at the beginning of the year, didn't we? Like they started off all guns blazing, but it's a long season. They're a new franchise, and we knew that the 27 weeks would probably get to them. And we're only at week 22 now. And they have a bit of a run home that's going to be hard, culminating in their final game of the season against us at Suncorp, which will be a cracker. And the final game of the round, mate, was the Titans hosting the Cowboys up there at Seabus Super Stadium. The Cowboys on a bit of a roll at the moment. We're going for 7 in a row, but it was the Titans 22. Brimson, Sami, Campbell, and Cam Pereira tries. Boyd 3 for 4 goals over the Cowboys 13. Valame and Hess tries. Holmes 2 from 2. Townsend a field goal. Like I said, the Titans, they put an end to North Queensland's 6-game winning streak by beating their rivals 22-13. In a seesawing Queensland derby, the Titans took a unique 9-point lead shortly after halftime through tries to Jaden Campbell and Cam Pereira after the Cowboys led 13-10 at the break. Alofi Cam Pereira, with his 18th try of the season in his rookie season, he's now become the Titans' highest ever try scorer in a season. Overtaking David Fafita, who previously held that record with 17. Mate, both sides had their chances in the final 35 minutes, but neither team could get over the line for the remainder of the second half, with Cowboys' loss putting a dent in their finals hopes, with the Knights and Sea Eagles, as we said, hot on their heels. And in a tough contest, the Titans kind of showed how you beat the Cowboys, because they showed that the Cowboys can get a little bit rattled when you put scoreboard pressure on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they struggled at the back end of that game, and they didn't even look like scoring. And the Titans held on for a win, crucially just in time to play us, of course. So it was a huge win for the Titans, and of course the Warriors had the bye. So the NRL ladder looks like this: Penrith and Brisbane remain at the top of the table on 34 points. The Warriors remain in third, with the Storm in fourth, both on 30 points. The Raiders are in fifth spot on 28 points. The Rabbits win moves them back to the top 8 in 6th position, with the Sharks dropping to 7th and the Cowboys remaining in 8th, all three teams on 26 points. The Knights and Sea Eagles moved just 1 point out of the 8, both teams on 25 points. And the Eels drop out of the 8 and to 11th on 24 points, with real pressure on them to make the 8 now, with some really tough games ahead for them. The Titans move into 12th, joining the Dolphins and Roosters on 22 points. The Bulldogs on 18, Dragons on 16, and poor old Tigers on 12 points. Can all book their end-of-season trips away with no chance of them playing finals footy in 2023.
Yeah, I think you put a line through anyone below the Knights and the Seagulls. I don't think the Eels can make it, and anyone under the Eels, Titans, Dolphins, Roosters, Bulldogs, Dragons, and Tigers, seasons are done. All right, don't forget this week's live show will be on Wednesday night at the usual time of 7:30. With no Warriors game this week, we're going to be joined by a couple of special guests. We're going to have Levon from the Wires Up podcast and Jared from Warriors Anonymous coming on to talk about all things Warriors. And please, if you're a fan of our content, make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our stream content.
Yeah, absolutely. Other ways that you can show your support is to subscribe to our Patreon program. The links will be in this video description, or to head to our Redbubble store and grab yourself some exclusive Roo Hammer merchandise. We have plenty of designs honouring past legends of our club, current stars, as well as some great novelty prints reliving some memorable moments. The link to our store will also be in the description below. Well, that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you all on Wednesday night.
Thanks, guys.